all those lurkers. That was a very good maneuver on Mania, realizing those lurkers were just out of position. Comsatted just behind them, and right as they were sinking, and before they could really get a hit off, he managed to take all 4 lurkers down. That's a big cost to Julyzerg. Julyzerg really needs to kind of build, well, looks like he has some units on the ground, but really not a large attack force out. He's sending out 2 lurkers kind of alone at this moment. Looks like, yeah, he does have that evolution chamber going. Looks like he's going for that tier 3 tech. But he should be a little more wary of Mania. Mania has 3 tanks out. That's good. Six barracks going at for Mania, so Mania's going to be pumping a lot of units fairly quickly here. And that first science vessel's out. So really, Mania kind of in a commanding position. He has 4 tanks out, a lot of medics and marines, and only a few lurkers on the ground for Julyzerg. Looks like more incoming though. But with that science vessel, they're not going to be terribly effective. So it's gonna be kind of on the superior micromanagement of Julyzerg to take care of this. That Queen's Nest going up, but Mania is going to spot that. Basically, I think that's going to force Mania kind of into an attack position. He realizes that 3rd tier tech's going up, and long games, that Dark Swarm goes up, and he really could have that game get out of hand. He's going to put down an extra Terran bunker for a little bit of extra defense so he can be a little more aggressive. That 3rd tier tech coming, that Hive tech going. In the meantime, we'll see how July does with his Scourges. He has excellent Scourge micro. See if he can get that science vessel down. It's really going to be the key for Julyzerg here. He's bringing it up. He does manage to get 1 Scourge off on that science vessel, but doesn't manage to take it down. So he's going to lose all these lurkers here in this attack. He does manage to take out 2 of the tanks, which was really important. So that is going to delay Mania somewhat. He got a decent amount of marines, but really I have to consider that a victory for Mania. He kept his science vessels. He has still a decent portion of his infantry out, but really Julyzerg just trying to buy time, it looks like, to get that 3rd tier tech. A dropship up for Mania in the meantime. I don't know if Julyzerg's going to expect that coming, and it doesn't look like he has any sort of defense down on any of his expansions. It looks like in the upper left hand corner, I can't tell whose units those are. I think those Julyzerg's unit. He's just kind of camping out the expansions, but Mania seems content just to kind of go out of that early expansion build, go straight into bio, and kind of try to push and win this now. He's going to go for that lower right hand expansion. He has that science vessel out, he has a good amount of medics marines, and he has those 2 tanks, and this is going to be hard to fight off. We'll see if Julyzerg tries to flanking maneuver from his main to try to take some of these units out. Looks like he's bringing in that Zergling to spot, trying to get a good group. That was a brilliant maneuver by Mania. He brought all those forces out of position. He's going to do a drop on Julyzerg's main now, and Julyzerg I don't think is going to have any units in position to fight this off. He's going to have to build them. Wow, really excellent micro by Mania. I'm impressed by that, dodging those Zerglings that he saw incoming. So they're not going to see that. He's not going to see this coming. Mania just basically sacrificing these forces just as a delay tactic to get a drop inside on Julyzerg's main, basically to stop that upper level tech. So Julyzerg's going to be able to take that out. But in the meantime, this drop, very clever maneuver on Mania. Mania is losing those forces on the right, but in the meantime, doing a really fantastic drop on Julyzerg's main. He might be able to take that hive down. He stops that gas for sure, which is very costly. But if he does manage to take that main down, or that hive down, that's going to delay Zerg inexorably. But it looks like he's going to bring some things up, and at the very least, though, Mania managed to stop that gas for a moment, and he got about 6 or 7 drones. So really, I got to consider that a victory for Julyzerg. Looks like he's going to be able to take out one of those lurkers, really costing July a bit here. Now he's going to kind of bring those medic marines out of position and try to keep them there. He's just trying to delay July from getting those resources. He can't bring those drones up while that medic marine force is there, even though it's small. Meantime, bringing another large force while he's distracted out of position. Mania, in the meantime, he has that Zergling kind of camping that thing, so he's just that expansion. So he's just going to build a command center out of position and float it in and take it at his convenience. And kind of surprise Julyzerg with, hey, got an expansion, and Julyzerg's not going to really be able to respond. Medic out in the field, but that'll be fine. He'll be able to survive with these forces incoming. That's a very large force for Mania. I don't know if Julyzerg has enough to fight this off. In the meantime, he was very delayed on his tech, losing that gas early. A little careless on Mania. He has those science vessels a little too far out in the open. Scourges could really take that down, but I don't see any Scourges up for Julyzerg, so that's not going to cost him too much. A lot of science vessels out, and again, science vessels key for Terran Zerg game, especially late in this area. And this fight, oh man, huge fight. Julyzerg did manage to take down one science vessel, managed to take out a lot of those forces. Brilliant maneuver on Julyzerg, just kind of set his lurkers across the middle and basically just split the forces in half, managed to kill a lot of that, basically the entirety of that force except for a handful of Marines. Loses a couple of lurkers there, but really successful on Julyzerg in fighting that off, and it just shows you why he's such an amazing Zerg player, especially with his micro. still 2 science vessels up in the air, still that dropship up in the air though. Looks like he's Mania in the meantime is going to be able to take that expansion fairly easily with the remnants of that force that were in the middle. Actually, it looks like he just built them. I take that back. He takes out that Ling. So now Julyzerg really, I don't think he's in a position to kind of be concerned about that. A lot of barracks out for Mania in the meantime. He's going with another factory. So my guess is he's going to kind of just start pumping tanks and medic marine forces out. Psi vessels up and Scourge. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. Those defilers are out in the open. That's kind of careless for Julyzerg. He's not going to get full use out of those defilers. In the meantime, he gets a Dark Swarm off, but Mania in kind of that wide open position, he's just going to be able to move them out. But good job on Julyzerg. He managed to get some lurkers in the back position. He's pinchering these units in. He managed to take down 2 science vessels. Great micro there. Brilliant positioning and maneuvering. He's not going to be able to take this entire force out, but does inflict a significant amount of casualties out on Mania's forces. Managed to get those 2 science vessels, but two more science vessels come in. Mania is doing a fantastic job of keeping his production up. In the meantime, he's got looks like a kind of an upgrade advantage. I think Julyzerg realizes he has that upgrade advantage, which is why he has those 2 evolution chambers down. Looks like they're at 2-2. Spider Mine's meantime going down for vultures. That's kind of an interesting maneuver. Going to force Julyzerg to kind of bring those overlords up. That's rather clever, and that should help with the defense here. Those zerglings again aren't going to be able to take out that force. They're going to get pinned in and die here as Mania brings kind of some backup forces into this area. That's going to be easily taken care of. But Julyzerg's going to try to do what he can with those lurkers in position. But I don't. Wow. Brilliant micro by Julyzerg. He manages to take out a whole stream of Marines there. That science facility, we've seen that a lot recently, floating out science facilities. I think it's just because they have more hit points than the engineering bay, and when you're doing that dual upgrade, it's kind of, you want to keep that engineering bay on the ground to do that upgrades. A lot of Scourge is out for Julyzerg in the meantime, and he does have defilers coming up, but he's got a lot of science vessels out in the air that have a lot of energy, so really this is going to come down to some amazing micromanagement. A large force by Mania. It looks like Mania went for those vultures, kind of carelessly losing. He doesn't have enough attack force there. That defiler, wow, careless on Julyzerg. Julyzerg loses that defiler very easily without a fight, and doesn't manage to take down that command center in the meantime, losing his defilers left and right. And Plague goes off on all those science vessels. Looks like Plague is finally upgraded, so that's going to be devastating for Mania, and that's going to make it very difficult for Mania to come out on top of this game. That Plague all over there. In the meantime, Julyzerg getting an Overlord kind of caught out in the open. But really, I have to say, Julyzerg's play has been very sloppy right here. He's playing very lackadaisically, where Mania, even though he's losing forces here and there, he's been playing very calculatingly. He realizes he needs to go out. Wow, catching another Defiler out in the open with an Irradiate, with nothing to defend it. A nice Dark Swarm down there, and a Plague off, kind of a mis-aimed Plague, though. It got a couple of Zerglings there. Managed to get most of that Medic Marine force, though. Kind of interesting, though. He plagued his own Dark Cloud. I'm not sure why he did that. 2 dropships going in on the main of Julyzerg, though. And Julyzerg, again, doesn't have any position. You might be able to take out... he's going for that gas first, and now he's going to turn around and go for that tech. This is disastrous for Julyzerg. Julyzerg doesn't have anything in position to fight this off. He takes that Defiler Mound down. That could be GG for Julyzerg. In the meantime, it looks like he did manage to get up and fight that off. Let's see if Mania just concentrate. Yeah, he's just going to concentrate, take out those Zerglings that are flooding in. Julyzerg in huge trouble here. He's going to be able to take that Defiler Mound down. He managed to take that gas out. That's going to... The Defiler Mound's down. This could be GG for Julyzerg. Without the Defilers, he's kind of at the mercy of this Medic Marine rush from Mania. That was a brilliant maneuver by Mania, realizing Julyzerg didn't have anything in his base to defend. And it takes out the spawning pool. Really, there's nothing but Mutalisks that Julyzerg and Hydralisks that Julyzerg can produce at that point, and those aren't very effective units against Medic Marine forces. Really, you want that Dark Swarm and the Zerglings in against Medic Marine rushes with that tanks. Mania in his commanding position now managed to get another Radiate down. That's a brilliant drop by Mania. Mania's going to come out on top in this game, I think. Simply, he has several science vessels out. They have plenty of Irradiate out. Really, he's free to kind of rain down on the base now. Looks like he's going to do an Irradiate run with the 2 science vessels. Going to kind of get rid of what gas is left for Julyzerg here over that. Man, Julyzerg, that's GG for Julyzerg. Wow, brilliant drop by Mania. And wow, that game really swung very quickly in Mania's favor. But again, Julyzerg not playing very well with the few units he has left. That's not going to be very effective. That Dark Swarm really needed to be right over the tank with 2 down, basically. Plague going off on those Medic and Marines in the tanks, though, but I still don't think that's going to be enough to take that down. He's going to lose that hatchery. Right now, Julyzerg, I don't think, has any gas producing. That was a brilliant job by Mania to basically take out all that gas, take out all the res. That's GG. Wow, brilliant game by Mania. Mania proving that he can hang with Julyzerg, at least for a match. We'll see how this turns out in the future. This might turn out to be into a more interesting match than general, and Mania proving, even though for a new guy, Woo, playing very well there, being very calculating, very sneaky, and coming out with the victory. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I'll talk to you guys later.